Welcome to another episode of Voices by VEEU. Today we've got a really exciting personality. She has done so much and so many things that happen in her life, and it has never stopped her from writing. Today we've got Jennifer with us. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today and telling us a little bit your story so people get to know you. How are you feeling today?
I'm excited to share my story to the world so that they know that where you start in life isn't where you end up, and that we all have a purpose to fulfill and get going.
Lovely, lovely. Would you like to introduce and let us know a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm Jennifer Skies. I'm a licensed conveyancer. I'm also a published author, minister, and conference speaker.
So you've wrote non-fiction primarily for many years, and now you've moved to fiction with too many mouths to feed. What did fiction let you say that non-fiction allow you to?
Right, so it's not about what fiction allowed me to say, but it's about marrying the two together and demonstrating that you can cross the divide between fiction and non-fiction and create stories that are compelling, fascinating and interesting to read, but also with a moral undertone.
Too many mouths to feed is set with the First World War, and it's about medical negligence and forgiveness and redemptive love. What pulled you to that exact intersection?
Okay, so the books that portrays an expression of ideas that are interwoven together to create a compelling and interesting story. And at the time I was writing in 2016, my mother just passed away. And I draw experiences from my mother passing away, and also someone within my family who suffered and passed away because of medical negligence. So it created a story around those ideas, and to show that you can still love and forgive people who've hurt you, and you can still grieve, but know that your grieving is not in vain. So it's putting together all these ideas to create a story that's compelling, but also has a moral undertone that love and forgiveness should always be considered when you go through grief, or when someone you love passes away due to someone's negligence.
So would you say when you shifted from non-fiction to fiction, is it the events that unfortunately happen in your life that you somehow have taken these ideas and you wanted to write about them?
Okay, so when I write, I write from lived-in experience, but also experiences from other people. I did start off doing non-fiction, but I think there's always been a story within me that had to come out, and it just coincided with my mother's death that this story, she moved on to a different life, and I found the courage within to start writing fiction, really. But the desire and the interest and the ability to write fiction was always there. But I think her passing generated a new lease of life in me, and hence my many fiction books thereafter.
I find it so interesting that you somehow have taken these bad events that happen in your life, and you're so brave and powerful that have managed to adapt these bad things that happen and then create something really good. I mean, you've got so many books.
Yes, I think for me, you have to be, you are empowered by your experiences, and that I think what I've been through in life has empowered me not to be bitter, but to be better, and to use those experiences, whether they're negative or not, as stepping stones to where you want to get to in life. You can allow yourself to be held back by bad experiences, but the key is to, okay, what good can I take out of these bad experiences, and how can I empower myself to be the person I want to be or become through these bad experiences?
To be bitter or to be better, I really
Indeed,
like that.
Indeed, yes.
Your fiction books, somehow, they also transmit the Christianity and the faith roots that you have on yourself. And with the books that you write, do you try to make that very present, or you're trying to approach for a bigger audience that probably doesn't believe the same culture or doesn't have any beliefs at all? Like, how do you make the faith in your books not super visible, if that makes sense?
Okay. Well, I believe I write for everyone. I like to think I write for everyone. I will always be a woman of faith, but I also love writing. So first of all, when writing a story, or whatever genre it might be, it's to captivate the reader's attention and draw them into the story. And obviously, as a Christian, there'll be certain aspects of my faith interwoven in the story, but first and foremost is to capture the attention and the excitement of the reader so that they will continue to read the book. So it's about captivating their attention so they think, oh, I like this book, I'll continue to read it. And then obviously subtle references to faith will appear somewhere in the book because I am a woman of faith.
So even though you are Christian, and then there's some aspects in your writing that obviously talks about events that is related to culture, your intent is just not to talk about culture, it's talk about everybody, but then whoever feels connected by it.
That's it. I mean, I basically am a writer, so I write for many audiences. So if the faith aspect's in there, it may not resonate with everyone, but it will resonate with some people. But the primary aim is to write a story that is captivating, appealing, interesting, thought-grabbing, thought-provoking. That's the aim, really, as a writer.
I love that. I love that. You're just trying to write something that you believe, and then you write in a way that everybody can read
enjoy
it.
it. Indeed, that's correct. Yeah.
Fantastic. So walk us through your day. You obviously have a full-time job that is not necessarily connected to writing. How do you balance it out?
I have a full-time job, as you know. I'm self-employed. I do conveyancing. So I work right around my full-time job. So I choose contracts, and then the contracts, like when I'm not working, then I'm actually writing as well. So for me, on a day that I'm writing, I actually have a golden hour where I sit down, get my thoughts together, I just sort of brainstorm, and then if I've got some books on the go, I'll work out what is the message I want to convey and how do I want to convey it, and then build the character so that I can determine the big end from the beginning. When I write, I always determine the end from the beginning. I know how the story is going to end, and then I work backwards to develop the story so that it meets the beginning.
Oh, that's so
meets the end.
interesting. Well, I don't know how to write, and it's so interesting to know how the writer's minds work. Like you already got the final end, and then you have to go a little bit back to develop and to sustain that reality.
Yeah. So that all the bits synchronized together. You got the end there, and you work backwards. So you got the beginning, and then the ideas formulate and develop, so the end materializes as you planned it.
So did you mention that you usually do some writing in terms for you to get familiarized with the topic that you are writing about? Do you have to do some research?
Too Many Mouths to Feed, based on the First World War, Trench Life in the First World War. I had to do my research to get the facts correct, because you can't write a story like that without being factual in your narrative. So a lot of research went into that, but also my interest in history helped as well. So I did all the background research, then I create the story after the research was done, and I was happy with the outcome. Then I create the story after. So research is very important. If you're writing a book that has factual content in it, you have to make sure your research is thorough and that what you're writing about is factual and correct.
And yourself as a Black British author and being on freelance and fiction and non-fiction, how did you find yourself trying to apply for publishers and then getting rejections, and did that stop you?
For me, I might be a black person, but I think I don't fit the genre of what people perceive a black author ought to be. I just write because I love writing. And main publishing companies haven't taken me on board yet, but that's their loss, not mine. One day they'll realise that I am a gem that they've not discovered yet, but want to discover. And also, I think I'll be the first best-selling self-published author out there. Watch this space.
So is there something that particularly you're conscious about, obviously writing about Christianism in a way, you being a black woman, is there some concerns that you have within the industry that people might not perceive you because of that?
Okay. When I write, I don't see colour. I just write as Jennifer Skies. Some of the books I've written out there, you would never think, with the perception out there of black authors, you wouldn't think it was written by a black person. So I'm not disturbed or discouraged by the fact that I haven't been taken on as a black writer. I think, okay, I haven't been taken on by the mainstream publishing as a writer, but not as a black writer. There are problems out there with certain sectors of society, colour or otherwise, and people may not be keen to take on an author of colour, but that hasn't discouraged me because I know my worth. I know I've got the ability to write. I love writing, and it's something that no one's going to take away from me. It lays within me. It's about my purpose, and it doesn't matter what the outside world says right now. I'll write, and I'll continue to write, and I'll be successful at doing so.
Talking about what world says, I know that you do some conferences.
I do indeed.
You do some public speaking.
Yes.
Tell us, what are these sessions about? What do you have to say to people, and how can people interact with you, and what they usually ask you?
Okay, so when I speak about purpose and destiny. I'm passionate that everyone's got a purpose in life. Everyone's got a gift in life, and we're here to affect certain people, certain sections of society, your world, for example. People are waiting on you to tell your story, or people are waiting on you to share your testimony. People need you. We're a corporate being. We can't exist individually. We help one another. So when I speak about purpose, finding your purpose in life, finding your identity in life, knowing your destiny, knowing who you're here to affect and impact, and empower them to go out there and empower other people. And my book called Empower, The Dawning of a New Day, talks about purpose, talks about connecting with purpose, talks about how you can find your purpose in life and know that you are here to affect other people, and that you don't exist individually in your own entity. You're here to affect other people and empower other people. So when I go to conferences, people always want to know about my story, how I became the person I'm becoming now, based on the fact that I had low self-esteem, I was insecure, I was labelled as, by my parents as somebody who wouldn't do well in life, I was emotionally abused. But look at me today, I've become a new person. And if it can happen for me, it can happen for those out there who are also suffering in the same way.
I love so much the fact that you didn't put yourself down, even though so many bad events happen in your life. Some people might be affected negatively by it, but you got affected in a positive way, and you are sharing your experience with people, and people can somehow resonate with you. With this being said, what's the most popular questions that people come across?
People always, as I said earlier, people always want to know my story. How did you make that transition? What was the catalyst? What happened for you? But I think believing in yourself and allowing the labels that people put off you to be stripped off you. People can define you, but they can't define you correctly because they don't know who you are. You need to know who you are, identify yourself as whoever God called you to be, have value in yourself. The labels that people put on you, discard those. I know it's a journey in itself, but one day at a time you realise I'm not the person they've labelled me as. I'm not the person they've identified me as. I know who I am. And when you find your purpose and connect with your purpose, that gives you value, that gives you enthusiasm for life. And you know you're on a journey that will take you to become the person that you were born and destined to be. And then when the person who's been labelling you or discarded you sees you, they think, is that Jennifer? Many times in my life, from school friends, people said, no, is that Jenny? It is me, the one you labelled, the one you bullied, the one you called name to. I become a new person. They realise, how did she get out of that, that pit? How did she find her way in life? But the value in here, determination in here, to succeed despite the odds, is what's kept me on this journey and enabled me to become the person I am becoming today.
And do you feel you still have room for improvement?
Oh, yes, indeed. Life's a journey, and you take steps. Some small steps lead to big steps. So I'm on a journey. I'm not at the pinnacle yet, but I'll get there one day.
So what's the aim then? What's the final objective?
To have a number one bestseller across the world, to have a number of films created from the books I've written, and to be able to empower other people to become the best version of themselves.
And what's the next book?
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Are we still keeping fiction? Are we going back to non-fiction? Okay. Is there another genre that you would like to explore?
There's no doors closed. I will write professional books. I've written professional material for colleges and schools previously, so I'll write professional material. But also, there are many sequels to the books I've already written. So Too Many Mouths to Feed has a sequel, Cheated has a sequel, the children's books has a sequel as well. So the sequels to come out, they've all been started but not finished, though, the one about Burner. But I've got many books out there that are half written that need to be finished. So
apart from these projects that you are considering to conclude, is there any other specific story that you're thinking about that you perhaps can tell us a little bit more about?
I think I'd like to write a book about the Black pioneers, how they created a pathway for us to become who we can today. Despite their starting life in slavery and stuff like that. I think it's nice to write about a book about Black pioneers that we can see as an inspiration to where we can and who we can become.
So there's this particular book of yours that speaks about your personal experience, and I think you've got it here with you today, isn't it?
I have. It's called Cheated and written under my pseudonym, pen name, Adina Rose Benedict. So a reason for doing that is to protect the family members that are actually contained within the book.
So how did you come up with that pen name?
Okay, mother, auntie, and famous actor.
Oh, great.
So I like the name. My mother's name was Adina, and my auntie was Rose, and then Benedict was just a name I plucked out of the air. So it's got a nice ring to it, Adina Rose Benedict.
Sounds really nice. I like the idea.
I like it too.
So where can we find Cheated?
Okay, Amazon and also Waterstones. The book's also available in Roehampton Library and also Reading Library for loaning. For those who do want to buy it, they can buy it from there.
That's fantastic. So you can go to the library and rent
You can
it.
indeed, yes.
Oh, I love that. Or you can also purchase the actual hard copy on Amazon online.
And Waterstones also will order it for you as well.
Do you have like any audiobook available as well?
No, we've got Kindle version. I'm working on the audiobook. It's not ready yet, but we've got the Kindle version available from Amazon as well.
That sounds very exciting. So, and then you were telling me as well that on Amazon you'll be able to see some feedback. There's some people write
Indeed.
some comments about how's the book.
That's it. And I've got 5-star rating, nothing less than 5-star ratings on Amazon for this particular book by people who read the book and enjoyed it so much, they've given me a 5-star rating. So it just shows you how good the book is, basically.
Congratulations. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
everybody that's listening to this, you guys have to go on Amazon and just type Cheated by
Adina Rose Benedict.
Adina Rose, and then you'll be able to
Indeed,
purchase that. I
indeed.
love it. But this is not the only one that you've got in. Have you got any more?
I've also got a list
books?
of all the fiction books that I've written. This one, Ghostly Goings On at the Red House, available all on Amazon, Kindle and paperback copies. The Ghostly Goings On is about a firm in Kent where back in the 18th century there was ghostly goings on and activities that affected the lawyers working at the law firm. Very good book. Won first prize in a competition for that one.
Ooh.
These two are the children's books about Matilda the Robin, a 4-part series. 2 books are already out, also available on Amazon.
Fantastic.
And these 2 children's books are also available in libraries, in Reading and also in Roehampton as well, for loaning. This one's the one I mentioned, and Too Many Mouths to Feed, the one we talked about earlier, also available on Amazon. And by the way, all these books have 5-star ratings. Check Amazon, you'll find it there.
Of course, you want to write it with your personal life as well. Is there something that you somehow would like to say, you know, even though, guys, I do these, I still do that, talking about like your life balance. You obviously mentioned that your mother's death influenced you and like gave you ideas to write the book. But do you want to maybe touch a little bit more your personal life?
What I will say is that having had a foundation that wasn't conducive to my well-being in terms of emotional abuse and bullying at school, because I lived in an area that was predominantly Caucasian, and so we were bullied a lot because we didn't fit in with the genre and so forth. But I think that I've never let anything in life stop me from where I'm going. I think being purpose-driven is key, because if you're purpose-driven, you know that your life has more value than what other people are saying it has. So I would say find your purpose in life, and that will help you to overcome the tragedy, the pitfalls, the bad things or adverse things that have happened in your life. And where you start off in life isn't where you end up. And you've got to take control of your life so that you can determine the life you want to live, rather than the life that people have defined or say you should be living.
You're the one making
You're the one in
choices.
charge. You're the one making the choices, because every choice has a consequence. You need to know your value, determine how you want your life to pan out, and then start making steps towards fulfilling that, and not allow other people to value you or define your value, because they can't do it right. As I can see for myself, they didn't define me correctly, and I don't know my value. My parents didn't know my value, and I've shown that and proven that by becoming the person I am today.
And in terms of education and foundation, did you study writing, creative, anything like that?
I didn't study any writing or creative content at all. I'm a lawyer by profession, or conveyancer by profession. I have no formal training in writing whatsoever. And for me,
So how are you so good?
my ability to write, to me, is a gift. And I, as a woman of faith, I think it's a gift from God. Everybody has a gifting, and some people never discover it. I've discovered mine. My ability to write in the way I do, it comes from God. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm a woman of faith, and my gifting comes from God.
And when did you discover this passion? When did you find out that you are so good in what you do?
Well, I didn't start off writing stories. I used to write sermons because I preach. I also written stuff for Waltham Forest Council on how to get back into work.
Okay.
That kind of thing. That's where I started off initially, writing professional manuals. And then I started writing non-fiction and fiction after. So I think over the years of my life, my writing has evolved and got better and better, and the passion has never died. I'm still passionate about writing. I'm still passionate about getting my material out there. I'm still passionate about people having read my book and found it so encouraging. That gives me the impetus to continue writing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like from the very early stage when you start writing and until now when you are in your fiction novels, I feel like you somehow indirectly you helping people, and I find that so beautiful because the stories that you tell, the way that you write, it's talking about stories that has happened or how to help people in a way. Does that make sense?
I think you are correct, because
Yeah.
when people read certain books I've written, that it resonates with their life experiences, and it helps them to become, either to get the help they need or discover the fact they need help, and empower them to do that, to get the help they need, and empower them to become a better version of themselves. So yes, I hope if my stories are empowering other people, then I'm very happy. I'm very happy writing if that's the case, because that's my aim, to empower other people, but also to bring enjoyment to those who love reading.
Absolutely. No, I'm sure they do. And thank you so much for writing the way that you do, and with all the life experiences. And I'm sure some people get touched by you, and indirectly or directly might change their lives. So well done.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm a very happy woman.
So today we had a beautiful conversation with Jennifer Skyers. She is a very talented writer, and there was so much to know about her. Thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure having you and get to know you a little bit more. And this was another episode of Voices by VEEU. I hope you guys liked today's episode. Stay tuned for more.